Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the mid-morning show with Najma Kota. I thank you for your patience. We had load shedding, so we're back with our backup power. And more importantly, I need to thank our very special guest who's waiting for us directly from Indonesia. He's been quite patient. He's been with us since 12 o'clock, waiting to go back on air. So thank you very much, firstly, Mr. Rama, for joining us this morning and for your patience.
You're welcome, Najma.
That's right. Well, I was looking at, before I ask you about the history and culture of Indonesia, I see
Hmm.
that you reside in Tanjung Lesung. It is a
Yeah,
hidden paradise of
yeah.
Indonesia. Tell me about where you live.
Tanjung Lesung, it's about 2 hours from my place.
Mm-hmm.
And like you saw in the video, uh, that's a good place. Very beautiful place.
So is it tropical, scenic? Is it also, beach resorts? How
Yeah.
would you describe it?
Uh, Based on the culture of Banten people in my area,
Mm-hmm.
they almost 100% Muslim. And for every destination in here for tourism, uh, we usually call it as halal tourism because
Oh.
there is no alcohol or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and it's uh, kind of uh, the most greatest point from this area, halal tourism.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mr. Rama is a journalist and resident of the amazing Indonesia. He takes us through the culture and majesty of this country. So, can you take us through or tell us about the history of Indonesia?
Mm, uh, at August, uh, Indonesia 77 years old.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of thing that change in Indonesia, especially for technology and culture.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And
Indonesia,
how, mm,
huh?
now continue.
Okay. In my place, uh, still have traditional culture. There is no electricity for some people who still choose to live like that, but for some people choose to live with modern age.
So why have those people that have chosen to stay in without electricity
Mm,
done that? What is the tradition or culture behind that? Why would they do that? Why have they chosen to live like that?
mm, because we're living in a free country, so they free to choose how they will live.
Right. So
Yeah,
just oh,
yeah.
all right. So I'm just going to read a bit of the information that I have, and maybe we can build on that. So, the Hindu kingdom sprung up on Java and Sumatra as early
Okay,
as 300 BCE
okay.
under the influence of traders from India.
Yeah.
Hinduism and Buddhism were introduced to Indonesia, and the
Mm-hmm.
Indian culture spread across the archipelago. So, in the 13th century, Islam was brought to Indonesia by Muslim merchants. Can you expand on that?
Mm, I'm not good telling this history, but I know Islam get into Indonesia. It's about 7 or 8th century because uh, we still have a mosque from 7th century,
Hmm.
and uh,
Where
Islam
exactly? Where exactly is that
Huh?
mosque, Mr. Rama?
Central Java, in Central Java.
Oh,
Mm.
can one visit it?
Everyone can go there.
Right, right. Is it a tourist attraction?
Hmm.
Because it sounds like it's one of the oldest mosques in Indonesia.
Yeah, made by wood, and whole of mosque made by wood, and it built in the middle of the forest until today.
Oh, oh, it must be wonderful to see. So you say that's in Java, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so what
Central
can you tell
Java.
us? Uh-huh. What can you tell us about the precious spice commodities such as nutmeg, cloves, kalangal, and many others? Is that what attracted merchants to Muslim merchants
Ah,
to Indonesia in the 13th century?
mm, can you
Okay.
explain?
Okay, no, I was talking about the spices. Is Indonesia known for their spices, and do they still export these
Spices?
spices? Yeah, spices such as nutmeg, cloves.
Uh,
You're not familiar with that. All right, let's move on to something that
okay,
you can
okay.
perhaps. What about the national official language?
Uh,
What is the official language of
okay,
Indonesia?
okay. Uh, Official language is Bahasa, but we have uh, 780 local language
Hmm.
because Indonesia have more than 60,000 island,
Wow.
and
Yes.
and we have so many local language.
Which is the most common one?
Jawa and Sunda.
All right. So, I just want to respect the fact that I know that you're not English speaking, and
Yeah.
you're doing your best to explain whatever you can in English. So don't worry, you are forgiven. And I'm sure our people listening to us and watching us would understand as well. But would it be easy for an English speaking tourist to visit Indonesia? Is it okay? Is there a language barrier, or are most Indonesians able to speak
Mm,
or communicate in English?
mm. Yeah, actually, yeah, but not for me because I'm lazy to learn English.
Well, you're doing well. Okay, yeah, we're doing well. And what about you being a journalist? What type of journalism do you practice?
For government, I do for government, for parliament.
Uh-huh. So you're more of a political journalist,
Yeah,
and I'm sure the tourism industry is very very popular
yeah.
in Indonesia, because we'll go through after our next ad break. We'll go through some of the places that one can visit, and I know they are the most common ones. The one we always hear about is Bali, but there's always
Mm,
more to the country than that, and more places. So is there an interest from your side as a journalist on foreign tourism?
hmm?
As a journalist, you said
Yeah.
yeah. Do you promote tourism through your journalism?
No, I only report
Po-
for political.
Politics.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Well, all right, let's take our break. And when we come back, let's see if we can talk about the islands, the beaches, the lakes. And
Hmm.
I'm just looking at all of these amazing historical arts and influences that date back to the Stone Age. So it's not
Mm,
just about exotic islands and beautiful beaches, but there's so much more to this country that one can appreciate and enjoy if one appreciates the history, the tradition, the culture, and of course, the cuisine. We'll talk about the food as well if there's time. All right, so let's take our break. And when we come back, we speak to our special guest, Mr. Rama.
Moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media. Humanity sets the agenda.
For a long time, we've lived in a centralized world, where institutions held the all-important data and confirmed all transactions. Those times are over. Welcome to Libertas Group, a blockchain development company boasting an ecosystem that continually redefines the way we do business. Our blockchain is decentralized, making it immune to hacking or alteration, putting the power back in your hands with no middleman so you can focus on the growth of your business. Libertas, the simplest investment choice you'll make.
Kids these days are smart, and when you're competing for their attention against their smartphones, you need to make smart choices, like using Sunfoil triple refined pure sunflower oil in every meal you make. It's naturally cholesterol-free and approved by the Heart and Stroke Foundation as part of a balanced eating plan. So whether you're cooking, frying, or baking, you get the great tasting results that'll get their attention faster than the latest app. And if that doesn't work, change the Wi-Fi password. Sunfoil. Now we're cooking.
Thousands of Syrian, Palestinian refugees and Lebanese children do not have access to education. Amman means safety, and is a school that provides formal education from kindergarten to grade 9. Africa Muslims Agency aims to provide 650 children with education that will change the trajectory of their lives and their families' lives. Fulfill your intention by fulfilling their dreams. Donate 16,000 Rand per child or any amount. Go to africamuslimsagency.co.za or call us on 011-834-8685. Africa Muslims Agency, empowering, educating, inspiring.
With so many investment options today, it's only natural that you might feel a little confused which route to take. Should I buy or should I invest in gold bullion? Randery Jewelers now brings you the Zahab coin, an alternative to the Kruger Rand. The Zahab coin, a solid wealth protector in its purest form of 24-karat gold, is the safest way to protect your wealth. So don't just sit there and watch your paper money depreciate. Change to gold. Call Randery Jewelers now at 031-202-4701 or visit www.rjcoin.co.za, situated at 151 Essenwood Road, Musgrave, Durban. Randery Jewelers, the family name you can trust. Breaking stereotypes, moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media. Humanity sets the agenda.
Tanjung Lesung, a hidden paradise lying in the western end of the island of Java. A place where values of ancient tradition melt into the beautiful landscape. Hundreds of year Badui village, rich in cultural heritage, open up with a smile that's welcoming you with warm heart. The beauty of its nature, perfect combination of the greenery of mangrove forest and the bluish of ocean water invited you to have fun. Enjoying the luxurious hotel or having underwater adventure. All for you at Tanjung Lesung. After a night full of delicacy of local culinary, enjoy your day with exciting activity, different kind of historical places you can visit. An endless adventure for all young souls. Seek for new life discovery.
Jadi,
Well, now that says it all. I would say. I hope that our viewers got to see that. I think brilliantly put together by our guest Rama. I think you don't have to say much now. Hey, we've just seen and been given an appetizer for the beautiful place. So okay, we just saw the place that I asked you about in the introduction of the program. But I also see there's the Raja Ampat Islands.
hmm,
Is and is that where the now you say there's this rare species of corals, and we saw in the video that there was an example of that. Is that a different area for
Raja
viewing
Ampat.
coral?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Actually, not only in Raja Ampat,
Mm-hmm.
it's spread everywhere in Indonesia. But the famous is Raja Ampat.
Mm-hmm. And
Mhm.
at the Maluk beach,
Hmm.
it's famous
Maluku,
for
Maluku, not Maluk.
Maluku. Okay, I
Yeah.
got the spelling here as Maluk. All right, thank you. It's also invites tourists to enjoy the changing colors of the sun's rays. I
Hmm.
wish we had a glimpse of that. Can you just? Is it possible to describe something like that to us?
Ah, I never been there before, so
Hmm.
what I supposed to say to you? I don't
Uh-huh.
know about the
All right.
place.
Okay, tell us about the food. What is
Okay.
Indonesia well known for in terms of its cuisine? Yeah, the food, the traditional food.
Hmm. Mostly Indonesian food tastes salty and spicy. It happened from Sumatra until Jayapura. Almost in every island, they love spicy and salty. But the famous food, even the best food from Indonesia is rendang. It came from Sumatra. Rendang,
Mm-hmm.
made from meat
Mm-hmm.
and it's spicy rendang. You have to try
Okay.
to find more information about rendang.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And what else can you? Well, there's the 27th of September. The country celebrates World Tourism Day.
Mhm,
And I'm sure, like I said earlier, we could talk about all of the wonderful places to visit, lots of islands,
mhm,
and lots to do in terms of history, culture, museums, and of course
mhm.
the beauty, the natural beauty. So, what can you tell us about the how you celebrate Tourism Day in Indonesia?
For everyone who work from government, they will wear like what I wear now. It's
Right?
called batik.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
batik.
yeah, yeah. I've seen. Right. And that's the famous fabric print
Yeah,
from
not
that part of
print,
the
but
world. Yeah.
made by hand, not print.
Oh, it's made by hand. Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, I've seen it in Malaysia as well. Anyway, we do know that in your country now it's time for Maghrib Salah. So we will
yeah.
end this interview. And thank you once again for your patience and for trying
Okay.
your level best to explain whatever you could in a language that's not yours. So we wish you all the best and
Yeah.
assalamu alaikum. All right. So, yeah, we've had to, unfortunately, because of the breaks we've had and the fact that we didn't start on time with this interview regarding, having had the difficulty with load shedding, but we're back on air, and we're hoping to bring more information to you on this. But it will just be information shared by my producer with some pictures, and I'm sure we can actually make the best of whatever we have. But I just found that the information on Indonesia was just very, very intriguing in terms of its history and how Islam was brought to that land, which now to date is occupied by Muslims, and it's the largest Muslim population in a country internationally. So we look at all of that, and before we go for the break, or after the break, I beg your pardon, we will continue with that information.
That was a bit of
Yeah. Oh,
he was a bit.
So what you'll do is just some of the information, stuff about Indonesia and stuff, and then we'll put in a few pictures here and there, and then again, you'll mention the tourism day.
yeah.
Yeah, there's tourism days on the 27th of
I
September. I
see
think I
that.
put
Yeah.
it there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's on the 27th of September. Once you speak on the tourism day, then we will put in
Why do you hurt? Why do you break? Why Why do you not embrace this change? Why do you hurt? Why do you break? Why do you not embrace this change? Embrace this change. Embrace this change. Embrace this change. Breaking the back, settling the debts, clearing the glass, losing the use, shedding the mask, feeling the sun. Take a deep breath, no time to rest. Let it all fade, you'll find your way. Just trust your fate. Let it all go, and soon you'll know why you felt so low. Let it all fade, you'll find your way. Just trust your fate. Let it all go, and soon you'll know why you felt so low. Why do you hurt? Why do you break? Why do you not embrace this change? Why do you hurt? Why do you break? Why do you not embrace this change? Embrace this change. I remember when I first met you, I felt that God answered my call. There was that one place I always thought about, and I just wanted to be there with you. The place that no eye has ever seen, the place that no heart has ever perceived. I had a great feeling inside of me that one day I'll be there with you. And now that we're here, feeling so good about all the things that we went through, knowing that God is pleased with us too. It's not a dream, this is so true. Feeling the peace all around, seeing things we can never imagine, hearing the sound of rivers flow, and we know we'll be here forever. The feeling is indescribable, knowing that this is our reward. Do you remember the hard times we went through, and those days we used to argue, but there was not one thing that could bring us down, 'cause we always
Listen to something fresh. Listen to Salam Media.
Welcome back. And as I said earlier, we apologize for those long breaks, but sometimes technically there's just things that are not in our control. Nonetheless, I'm back with you. It's Najma Kota on the mid-morning show. We have just over 5 minutes left for the program, so I'm going to share some interesting information on Indonesia with you. Now, the history of this country is magnificent. Scholars believed that Indonesia came to existence during the Pleistocene period. That was 4 million years BC, when it was linked with the present Asian mainland. It was the time when the hominoids made their first appearance. Hindu kingdoms sprung up on Java and Sumatra as early as 300 BCE under the influence of traders from India. Hinduism and Buddhism were introduced to Indonesia, and the Indian culture spread across the archipelago. Meanwhile, in the 13th century, Islam was brought to Indonesia by Muslim merchants from Gujarat and Persia. The Muslim sailors were impressed with the abundance of the precious spice trade in commodities such as nutmeg, cloves, galangal, and many others. The spread of Islam was driven by increasing trade links outside of the archipelago. The traders, along with trade, propagated Islam among the Indonesian people, particularly along with the coastal areas. Indonesia is the largest nation with people following the Islamic faith in the world, with 88% of the population being Muslim. In addition, Hinduism, Buddhism, Confucianism, and Christianity are all practiced and prevalent within Indonesia. Covering an area and strategically positioned between the Pacific and Indian Oceans, Indonesia comprises of 17,504 islands. Indonesia is the largest country in Southeast Asia. The nation's independence in 1945, however, due to the numerous islands, most people tend to speak the regional dialects of their island or community, such as Javanese from Java, Balinese from Bali, and Minangkabau, if I got that right, from Western Sumatra. Now, the fun fact here is that in the nation's official language of Bahasa, Indonesia, there are 12 ways of saying no and several ways of saying yes when the actual meaning is no. Imagine going in as a tourist and not knowing that. Fun fact. Indonesia has always had a history of arts with influence from as far back as the Stone Age. You can see some of the best examples in the many temples of its islands and its architecture, including traditional timber structures that are built on stilts. You can find a presence of animist traditions and tribal art in most of the nation's crafts, as well as styles with strong Hindu and Buddhist rules. What we also spoke about during the interview was, of course, the 27th of September being National Tourism Month in Indonesia. So let us see what is it that the Indonesians are going to do to celebrate this, because it's such a rich place to visit. And I'm sure this is going to be something that they can really be proud of on the 27th of September. The country celebrates World Tourism Day. Let's see what we have. And in closing, I'm going to play out with the video of Indonesia. So I'll say my salams now, and hoping that I will meet with you next week again at the same time on the Mid-Morning Show with Najma Kota. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for listening, viewing, wherever you are. Keep in touch. Stay with Salam Media. I look forward to being with you next week at the same time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.